Panda rapper Desiigner. This is 50 Cent because 50 says he would not sign him because he only had one hit record.
It's for my bitches getting money. It's for my bitches getting to it. Life flocking, let's do it. Get the money, let's do it. It's for my bitches getting money. And my niggas getting to it. Every night, let's do it. She gon' pop, she gon' screw it. Niggas talking that 50 Cent. I be talking 50 mil. Niggas talking that Timmy Turner. Let the niggas get killed. I got signed to Kanye, little nigga. You was never worth the deal. Designer always keep it real. Designer always keep it for my bitches. For my bitches. For my bitches. For my bitches.
What up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again talking facts. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Keep sending those cash apps to CLBMG. I appreciate you, gang. Listen, Desiigner is one of those rappers who is almost a cautionary tale. Instead of actually heeding the advice, or not even advice, but the actual fact that at the time that Desiigner tried to sign with 50 Cent when he only had Panda and no other records, it was an actual fact. It was not him trying to diss. So 50 Cent went on Wallo and Gillie's podcast, $1 million worth of game, and just had a long conversation, just talking to them about this, that, and the third. Desiigner's name came up. Desiigner apparently went to 50 to try to get a deal. And 50 was like, that record's hot. It's like a big, giant record right now. What else do you have? And apparently Desiigner was like, that's it. That's all I got. Apparently he had nothing else, which I believe, because if I remember correctly, the story of Desiigner was like, they just made this random record and it caught wind in New York, and then Kanye got wind of it and he put a snippet of it on Life of Pablo. I didn't know who Desiigner was until Life of Pablo. I'm going to be honest with you. Panda blew up after Life of Pablo, in my eyes. I know a lot of people, a lot of young kids was already on Panda. Panda was already climbing, but to most of us in the general world, right? In the average everyday life, we did not know about Panda until Kanye made it a snippet and made it into a whole song on Life of Pablo, right? That's when everybody's like, where's the original? Because he got half his damn verse on there. We didn't know that was somebody else's song. We thought it was featuring Desiigner, and he was one of Kanye's artists that Kanye just put on. Not knowing he had a whole song, and Kanye just took that sample and took that song and made it into his own song. Now, I'm going to be first to tell you, I think Kanye really just used bro's song for the heat that it had. Like, I think he just took the record for how fire the record was, because that record was fire. Let's just be honest. We're not gonna do that. Like, Panda wasn't just like crazy. Like, I know old heads were just like, I like the drums on that. Like old heads that don't like nothing about young rappers was like, I like the drums. That beat is hard. Like, so we're not gonna act like Panda wasn't the hardest record in the industry at the time that it dropped. But I think Kanye heard that record and he knew that it was something that was going to be big. And Ye made it bigger, and he signed Desiigner, right? I say all that to say this. Desiigner got on with Kanye. Desiigner dropped his whole album, which most of us will say that it was not good, right? We're going to say that it was very mediocre, almost. I mean, I don't like saying stuff is trash, but Desiigner for his album was low-key, trash low-key in a way, right? But he did have another record on there. It's called Timmy Turner. And Timmy Turner was his second single. After that, we didn't hear really much from Desiigner, let's be honest. And the whole thing with Desiigner sounded like Future, which is what got him on in the first place, but Future didn't take kindly to that. That meant Future's fans didn't take kindly to that. And by Future openly rejecting Desiigner, it made hip-hop openly reject Desiigner. His Timmy Turner record, people thought that was actually Future, right? So when that was determined that wasn't Future, he became an imposter, right? And Future's fans had to choose between liking Desiigner and liking Future. And most of them went back with Future. Even the young ones that was supposed to like Desiigner. Not to mention, Desiigner didn't have nothing extra to offer. I guarantee you, if Desiigner had real rhymes, If Desiigner had real personality, real skill, if he was able to show people that I am a true artist, which he was not. Now, I remember watching a video of him saying like, yo, you got to know the syllables of things. Things have certain sounds that attract to the eardrum, like vowels, like A, I, O. He was on to something. Those vowels do attract to the eardrum, and those sound very good on hooks. He was on to something with hook making. That is a fact. But he never branched out of that because, for one, we couldn't understand what he was saying half the time. And for two, when you could understand what he was saying, it wasn't really that good. He wasn't saying nothing crazy. So Kanye really only bagged him up for that one track and really left him out there because he could have did a lot more for Desiigner. Remember when Kanye went on that 7 album, that run with Tiana Taylor, Nas, himself, Pusha T, they all did 7-song albums. Desiigner was left out of that little run. Right? On purpose. He was left out of that little run on purpose. I don't believe Ye ever really believed in Desiigner. I think he used him for that sound and he moved on like he does with a lot of other people. But Desiigner had a chance to be great. Had Desiigner understood this is just a stepping stone. Ye is just using me right now, but I gotta put my own name out there. I don't think he had nothing else. So 50 Cent, when he heard that he don't really have nothing else, he understood the mission. He's like, this kid is not proactive. This kid is not going to be making music. He's not going to be doing what he needs to be doing. Now, Desiigner may be beg to differ and be like, yo, I have bags of music, da-da-da. But I never heard the story of Desiigner having bags of music. I heard the story of that album being tough to get finished, if I'm not mistaken. Now, I could be wrong. But they finished the Desiigner album. It wasn't crazy like dope rhymes and bars on there. So I believe that Desiigner had a handicap. Because if you're not that good of an artist, then you got to make really good records. And if you're making really good records, you got to have somebody to put their name behind you. He didn't have that. Kanye didn't. Who else was on Kanye? Was it Sheck West? I think quite a few people were signed to Ye and they didn't get the push. But that's what they say about when you sign to an artist, you're not going to get the same push of that particular artist. That artist is still trying to be relevant themselves. You still had Kanye when he dropped Pablo, still pulling down songs and remixing them live. Like the album would be up for 2 days and he would change 2 songs, change his wolves, change the beat on this, change the beat on that. So it was like he's still tinkering with his own career. How can he possibly deal with yours? So 50 Cent did not sign Kanye. Did not sign Desiigner. And it was the end of the story. Desiigner went on to actually not really do much after that, getting upset with Kanye, leaving good music, in a public rant, just straight up bugging out after about 4 years of just getting nothing done and going nowhere on a label that Kanye himself ended up ending. Pusha T left. Who else left that label? Whoever else was on that label except for Big Sean. Big Sean basically got tormented to get off the label by Kanye himself. So what happened with Desiigner was he didn't know the industry and he didn't know how to maneuver forward, and it distressed him. I think it was last year he went on a public rant saying he was quitting rapping. Then I think it was either last year or the year before in the same time frame where he was on an airplane and he got caught pleasuring himself on the plane and got arrested for that. So it's like Desiigner had a rough go of it and he didn't understand what to do with his own career. A lot of those public stunts were a man frustrated with his life and frustrated with his career. To say you're going to give up rapping means you just don't see anything left in rapping for you. So enter this conversation with 50 Cent. 50 Cent is talking to Wallo and Gillie saying, yeah, I was going to sign him, but the kid didn't have no music. And I just let him go and I said, I'll let them sign him, right? Whoever going to sign him, let him give him whatever, da-da-da. So instead of understanding that 50 Cent is plugged in on the internet and whatever he says is going to go viral, so try to match it, right? Try to match it, and you can kind of plug yourself in and get back into the lexicon of the conversation. He goes and writes a diss record on his phone to a random beat, decides to open record the diss. It wasn't even a diss record. It literally, like, I'm gonna be honest, that thing was probably 8 bars. 4 of the bars was repeated. It was the hook. He made a diss record with a whole hook. Like, he made a diss verse with the hook twice. Then he says about 4 bars, like y'all talk about 50 Cent, da-da-da, I signed to Kanye. First of all, you didn't like being signed to Kanye. You said being signed to Kanye was miserable and you wanted off the label. So that's not a bar that you want to brag about. You don't want to say, I was signed to Kanye. You could keep 50 Cent. Like, bro, like Kanye really literally ruined your career. Honestly, had he signed to a label directly without Kanye in the middle, we might have a different story for Desiigner. Dead ass. Signing to Kanye might have been the worst thing he did. So for him to try to flex that against 50, like I signed to Kanye, I don't think that's what you think it means, bro. I think that was a mistake in your career, to be honest with you. And what these young kids don't understand, they want to diss you and come at you, da-da-da. Every time they feel slighted, here come the diss record. But I'm like this, I'm an old school hip-hop head. And you reading off your phone, repeating the first 4 bars as if it's a chorus, and then going into some lackluster thing talking about, yo, I signed to Kanye, I'm about this paper, about this money. You got a full-on beard looking distressed. You know what I mean? You're in a car. Then when he puts the phone down, he starts looking out the window like he's like in distress. And I'm like, bro, this is not a good idea. I need these young kids to understand you don't got to go and try to diss everybody, especially reading off your phone, right? And especially somebody who did not diss you. 50 Cent did not diss you, bro. I'm just going to be honest with you. 50 Cent just said what it was. This is what people feel. If you're not saying something positive about them in the public, then you're saying something negative and they got to respond and diss you. This is where a lot of miscommunication comes from. Bro, he did not diss you. He did not diss you. Now he's on all these blogs for this really weak verse. Now he's known as dissing 50 Cent. Just like Hurricane Chris dissed 50 Cent for not bringing artists to New Orleans, not signing the artists in New Orleans for his show, right? I'm like, bro, y'all be dissing now for the most simplest of things. Some stuff, you could just make a response, say it, you could tweet it, and move on. You don't have to embarrass yourself with a lackluster diss record that's going to look really crazy in the future when you do try to rap again, right? And you do try to get in the mix, they're going to look back of how broken down it was when you were trying to low-key diss 50 Cent from your phone with a verse that you wrote in about 3 minutes and it really wasn't saying nothing. My generation, we really wanted to be more impressive with what we did. So I need you guys to understand, like, it's not about trying to freestyle your lyrics real fast or throw up a diss record just to get the traction, because the traction wasn't good for him. I don't think it worked out in his favor. 50 Cent is going to do nothing but clown him, even worse. And now he done burned the bridge with 50 Cent that he probably could have built on. Right? Had he got online and said something positive about 50, maybe he's in the daggone move, next show that 50's doing. You know what I mean? Let me know what you think. Hit me up in the comments, CLBMG. Make sure you hit the Cashapps, share the video, hit the subscribe button. Let me know how you feel. Do you feel that Desiigner had every right to diss 50, or this was a bad move? All right, I'm going to catch you on the flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine. Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.